Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Jessica here. I am here to do a junk journal July. I'm actually going to do two. I am going to do stripped back and paper samples, and that will get me all caught up for today. I really struggled with the stripped back prompt. I just wasn't sure what it meant and even what it meant to me. But from watching some other folks and from thinking about it, I have a plan. So I'm going to use this piece of paper here that is bubble printed with both some inks and paints and coffee. And it's also going to serve as my base for the paper samples prompt as well. So to me, what I was thinking was stripped back. I'm going to interpret as pushing things back into the background. And I'm going to use some gesso and some water pastels to push towards some things towards the back and other things towards the front. So let me show you what I'm thinking. I have here, this is a picture of an Atlantic puffin from a bird field guide. And this is kind of going to be my focal point. And I cut it out off the page, but I actually want to give it more of a roughed edge. And oops, sorry, I just clipped your wing there, honey. I just want to kind of fussy tear around my little puffin friends. I don't know if you've ever had the pleasure of seeing puffins, but I've seen them both in the Atlantic and the Pacific Oceans. And oh my gosh, are they adorable and cute and silly? I'm sorry. So in the Pacific, there are horned puffins and crested puffins, I think they're called. They have these big silly feathers coming out that look like your grandfather's eyebrows. And I'm gonna ink around this. And so they just gorge themselves on really small fish. In the Atlantic, they like to eat sand lance and smelt and things. And then in the Pacific, they'll eat so much that they can't take off. So if you're on like a whale watching boat and you approach them, they flap really, really, really hard, and they just kind of skitter along the surface of the water because their bellies are so full. They're excellent swimmers. They actually use their wings to fly underwater the way they would fly in the air. So they're amazing swimmers, but they always look like they're struggling when they're flying. Okay, so that is my Atlantic puffin focal point. But I also have some pieces of that field guide, both two field guides. So this is from the British one, this is from the American one. The British have Atlantic puffins because you guys are just on the other side of the Atlantic. And so they're in the group Alcidae, and they're related to the black guillemots and dovekies and razorbills and all these adorable birds. So I just want to do a little bit of a collage on this page of some of these relatives of the puffin, and I like that little bird. I think I'm gonna just put that down there. Maybe I'll tear this side off just a smidge more to make room for some other things. Yeah, I'm gonna tear this off at the Brunixmuir in common myrrh, and I'll put that there. And then this is an index, and I tore out the page that had the puffin, and I think I'll tear this down the center. And yeah, we don't need to know the page numbers. Duck-like seabirds, they're not duck-like. What are you talking about? Like that, I'll put that like that. And then here's another one that says Atlantic puffin. And I'm just going to tear around my Atlantic puffin like so. And then my my puffin. Where's my puffin? My puffin. See, there's my word puffin. Puffinus assimilis baroli. And then there are a whole bunch of other puffins there. So I'm going to put that like that. Maybe I will tear this off a little bit more. And yeah, I like that. Like that. That will go underneath. Okay, so I'm going to glue that down. Oh, hey guys, look. I got a Pritt stick. It's pristine and unused. So I'm going to try the Pritt stick out today. I'm gonna tear the top of this off a little bit. This paper is such a nice color. Super fragile. Kind of want to keep the word Alcidae because Alcidae is the group to which puffins and murres and razorbills and guillemots all belong. They're all seabirds, and they rely for their entire life at sea, and they come ashore to nest. And a lot of they'll nest on rocky islands where it's hard for terrestrial predators to get to take their eggs. And they're all suffering somewhat from climate change at the moment because they rely on the oceans for their entire sustenance. They all catch fish, and when the stocks of fish, when the timing of the presence of fish changes, or the abundance and distribution of fish change due to climate change, that's their food source. And if they can't catch enough fish to feed themselves and their pufflings, which are the cutest little gray balls of fluff, oh my gosh, if they can't catch enough, then you lose an entire year class of the pufflings because they starve to death because there just isn't enough food sometimes. So yeah, so they're adorable and wonderful, but they're also at risk. Okay, and now this does have a smell. It's not as pleasant as the Scotch Create smell. I find the Scotch Create glue stick to have a very pleasant smell, but it's not unpleasant either. A little perfumey, okay. So there's my focal point. Why am I putting my focal point down before the gesso, you ask? I will show you. I have a cunning plan. Anybody know what that's from? Anybody watch Blackadder? They always had a cunning plan in Blackadder. Okay, am I going to use my fingers? I have wipes here. I have some wipes that had all dried out, and I just added some water, and now they're all nice and moist again. Ooh, they're kind of all stuck together too. Okay, I got my wipes. Got my little mess of wipes. And I've got some paper towel. Okay, fingers it is. Oh, it's very thick. I think I might be needing some new gesso soon. Okay, so I just watered it down a little bit. So I want to push some things into the background that are less meaningful to me. I'm already messing this up. I want the puffins. There we go. Dove keys are okay, but they're not the point. Dove keys are like little tiny puffins. They're little like miniature puffins. And I don't want to cover up the Atlantic puffin. I want that to be visible. Not doing a very good job of this. There we go. And quails are not, this is not about quails. There's my puffin. So I'm pushing these things that have nothing to do with puffins kind of into the background. Alcids are okay. Black gillnuts are okay, but that's not what this is about. We're just about the puffins, right? Okay, and then I'm going to go around the edges of the Atlantic puffin description to push these into the back. Push them back. And tie these together. There we go. Maybe a little bit more here. There we go. Up there. I'm just reading what it says. Sorry, I got quiet there. On the wing, puffins are stubby, short-necked, thick-headed birds with a buzzy flight. Here, I'm gonna ink out or white out the winter plumage because I've always seen them in summer, and that's what I think of is their summer breeding plumage and their silly little brightly colored beaks and their buzzy flight because they're struggling because their bellies are full, hopefully full. Okay, so I've kind of selected those things that I want to push into the background and those things that will kind of remain in the foreground. Okay, so I'm going to take that was kind of fun. Ooh, that's very watery. Hold on. I'm just going to wipe my hands off there. I think I'm going to have to take take the heat gun to this. Let me cover up my gesso. This gesso is super old. You know what? I'm just going to pour a little bit of water in there and give it a little bit of a stir. Excuse my reach. A little bit of a stir because it's getting so thick. I've had this jar for years and years and years. That's helpful. Maybe a little more water. And I'm going to put it away because let it sit and think about itself for a while. Because there's still plenty left. It would be a shame to throw it away. It's just really, really, look, added quite a bit of water and it's still super, super thick. All right, that'll do for now. It's almost like texture paste right now. All right, this is a Gail Augustinelli trick. You put your parchment paper over the threads of your gesso jar and screw it down, and it allows you to take the gesso jar on and off without having it glued shut. Although I wonder if that's contributing to why it's drying out. I suppose that's possible. All right, where's that wipe? Here, let me take another super wet wipe and just wipe off my little art spatula here. All right, don't go away yet. We're not done yet. Don't go away. I heard you thinking about switching channels. Don't change that channel. Okay, I'm gonna give it a quick dry, so I'll give you the thumbs up when I'm done, and you can fast forward to so you see the thumbs up. Okay. All right. So when you heat gesso, and you heat it a lot, you get these little bubbles, which in this case don't bother me at all. From time to time I'll be doing something and I'll forget about that and it will bubble, and I don't want the bubble, but on this particular thing I like it. I like the texture. Okay, so here's what I wanted to do. I want to draw attention again. I want to draw more attention to the things that I want to pop. So let's use some Puffin Bill Red. I have this orangey red bill. And I think I'm just going to first draw boxes around the things that I want to highlight. Atlantic Puffin. Here's my puffin illustration. I'm going to highlight around this. And I'm going to highlight around chunky little sea parrot with the buzzy flight. And then maybe a little, they also have some yellow in their bills. They really are just the cutest birds. And they make this like little trill, this little high trill sound that's also quite adorable. And like I say, their babies are little gray puff balls. So we've got some beak colors in the puffins. And then I'm going to use my paintbrush because those are water crayons, water pastels, and I am just going to water down and smooth out these highlights. Going around my illustration, around the torn edges. I don't mind if the yellow and the orange blend, but I do want to have some spots where the yellow is yellow and the orange red is orange red. And that just softens the line, makes it look less like a crayon line and makes it a little bit more painterly. There we go. And then, oh, and then here too, we want the puffin. Maybe I'll use some black. So the other way to use these water pastel crayons, they're called watercolor crayons. These are super inexpensive ones from Michaels. And then we can just box these bits in. Those are my stripped down or stripped back. That is my stripped back page for Junk Journal July Day 10. And that's all I'm going to do. Okay. So then the day 11 is paper samples. Here, let's look at that again. So we have stripped back and paper samples. So I have a really simple plan for paper samples because I have oodles of paper and I use oodles of different kinds of paper. But here's what I was thinking is that I have a bunch of things that I particularly like to use. And I have some samples of those. So I have some stamped straw paper. I wanted to call it hay paper. I've got two examples of those. So I was thinking I am just going to go down the page. I also have this moth. I could fold this moth in half. Like so. Where's my tiny attacher? I was just using it yesterday. Oh dear. Where did I put my tiny attacher? Did I not put it away? Jessica, oh, I thought I did. I thought I put it away. I have one of these white Michaels, like carousel, Lazy Susan kinds of deals. And it's supposed to live in here in the little Lazy Susan, and it usually lives in this. Oh, here it is. I stuck it up on the shelf with my punches. Okay. I'm just going to put these around the perimeter. And then here I have, this is bubble printed, but it's also got some interesting stencil on it. So I thought I would put that on there as well. And then I have some bubble print. I love my bubble printed pages. And I thought I would put that on there as well. Some straight out bubble print. Maybe I'll put that on the top. Like that. And I have some, this is that green painting paper, painter drop covering paper that you get from the big box hardware stores like Lowe's or Home Depot. And I have that in green, but I also have it super thin. And I have some in brown as well, and it has a very nice crinkle to it. So I thought I would use a little bit of that. I can even overlap that a bit. Okay. And then I have some Italian paper. And I'm just going to put a little bit of Italian paper on the side here. And then this is one of my favorite things to use. This is inked tracing paper. And it's inked with the Ranger Tim Holtz spray inks. And it just, you can do it, I like to do it in greens for like a woodland forest theme, because it looks like, you know how the light in the forest is very translucent green? That's what it makes me think of. I'm going to put that there. And I have, this is Amazon packaging paper that I have stamps on. This is the first day I got these stamps, and I was just playing and trying them out. But they take the stamps very well because they're very absorbent. So I'm going to stick that on here. And the last thing I have is some stamped tracing paper. Again, this was the first day that I had these stamps, and I was just playing with them to see how they looked on different paper samples. Okay, so I'm going to put this butterfly, moth really, at the top here. Like so. Okay. So there we have, oh, it looks cool from the back too. There we have day 10, which is stripped back, and day 11, which is paper samples. So thanks so much for joining me. If you haven't subscribed, please consider clicking that like button, hit the subscribe, so you can see the projects that I'm working on, particularly over the summer. And if you have subscribed, well, thank you so much and welcome to my channel. I hope you all have a great day. Stay safe. Bye-bye.